What up, what up, what up? It's K.Honesty, and I'm about to do a review of The Chi, Season 6, Episode 13. So if you have not seen the 13th episode of Season 6 of The Chi, turn this video off, go watch the episode, come back and watch this video. Please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. It's simple, it's free, it's anonymous. I can't stress that enough. Help support Black content creators by liking and subscribing to the video and the channel and whatnot. I'm not a public speaker. I will tend to fumble my words. You will hear me say and so and like 1,000 times. I may stop to regain my thoughts. I may slow my speaking down to regain my thoughts. It is what it is. I'm going to be looking at my notes that I take throughout the show. And anything I say is my opinion. It does not reflect anyone or anything associated with the show. And also comment below what you thought of this week's episode, what you would grade this week's episode. If I forgot anything, if I'm off on anything, let me know in the comments. That's what you guys are here for. And yeah, I like to grade the episodes before and after my reviews. I'm going to grade this week's episode a B-. It was pretty good because there was a shocker in there. They threw a shocker in there. I was like, oh shit, okay. So yeah, I would definitely give it a B-. Will I change it, my grade at the end of this review? I don't know. I might not. But that's why I say I do it at the beginning and the end. But last chance, The Chi, Season 6, Episode 13. If you have not seen it, turn this video off because I'm about to spoil the entire episode. Okay, get some water. Okay, so the episode begins. We in court because you know Vic got arrested at the end of the last week's episode. So Vic is now in court and he manages to post bond, but he wondering how. And Leon tells him Jake came through with the money. So Vic is like, Jake, like, where Jake get that type of money from? So me, I'm immediately assuming it's the money that Zay gave Jake, like episode before last or something like that. I thought it was that. So then we get to seeing Keisha. She brings baby Ronnie back to the doctors, and the doctor is telling Keisha that Ronnie has sickle cell disease. So Keisha, she gets emotional. She's like, isn't that a death sentence? And the doctor's like, no, he's going to live a full life. She tells Keisha that she wants to do a full screening of both parents to rule out anything else as far as Ronnie. So that means she got to get Ronnie's father's DNA. Her abuser, her attacker, kidnapper. So then we get this scene. Bianca this episode is Duda's birthday. They gave the bad nigga a birthday episode. I mean, I'm here for it. Like I always say, I like Duda. And you hate to love him. So Bianca, she's surprising Duda for his birthday, but he like not in the mood seemingly. And he tells Bianca, oh, I just want to be alone. So Bianca, she leaves. He probably just still feeling some type of way because she told Tiff they were just transactional. So then we get this scene outside the courthouse. Leon, I don't know Leon's name on here yet, but we all know who Leon is from the Temptation. Ain't nobody come to see you. Oh, we know who Leon is. And he's playing Vic's lawyer, and he's playing Rob's dad, Alicia's ex-husband. We know. So when you hear me say Leon, you know who I'm talking about. So Leon, he tells Vic to, just abide by the restrictions of your house arrest and until I can get this case thrown out. So Rashad and Jake, they pull up to pick Vic up. So as soon as Vic get in the car, he like, Jake, where the hell you get all that money from to bomb me out? So Jake like, I don't know, it was just on the front porch. Like, what the fuck? So I know everybody watching immediately was like, Duda. That's hush money, Duda. I ain't wrote this, don't tighten up, don't loose as hell, but it's hitting. So, Candy's back. Candy Burris, who plays Duda's ex-wife. I forgot her name on the show. I think it's Rosalind. So she pops up at Smokey's, trying to make all types of suggestions to revamp the place and saying, I'm going to do this, send a crew in, da-da-da. Emma's like, no, I don't want any more money from you, from y'all, you and your husband, basically. So, Candy's making suggestions like we could do a kids eat free and all that. So Dom, who Lala played, you know Lala, she It's crazy that she plays on The Shy and she played on Power and BMF. Getting them gigs. But y'all remember Dom, the one who Lala plays, and Emmett cheated with her when he was with Tiff and all that stuff. So she's still working at Smokey's. I didn't even realize. I forgot all about her. So she come out the back and she getting smart. She like, who gonna cook all this kids free and all that? So then, what is Lene's brother? What is Vic Mensa's name on the show? I forgot Vic Mensa's name on the show, but you know he plays Lene's brother, and he just got out of jail. I forgot what Vic Mensa's name is on here. I was supposed to look it up, but I forgot. But y'all know who I'm talking about. He comes out the back, and Emma's like, oh yeah, Victor made me hire him. He's like, Trig made me hire him. So, and Vic Mensa's like, I ain't no damn charity case. I mean, you are at this point. So Candy's like, oh, I remember you. I know you. You the one that got out of jail on a technicality or something like that. And Vic Mensa's like, well, I turned my life over to God. So then Candy, I think her name is Rosalind, but I don't want to be wrong and keep saying Rosalind. Then they'd be like, who the fuck is Rosalind? So I'm going to say Candy for now. I got to go back in my old notes and see what Candy and Vic Mensa's names are on here. And I got to find out what Leon's name is. I got to look it up, and I have it by the next review. But for now, Candy, Vic Mensa, Leon. So Candy, she then introduces herself to Dom. So Dom Lala, she has a cousin that's working there that's deaf, and she signs. So Candy is introducing herself. The cousin, like, maybe you should learn signs to talk to me, or maybe stop talking so fast so I can read your lips. Like, little insulting but flirting. And Candy flirting back like, oh, maybe you could teach me sign, you know. So it's like a somewhat flirting, and the cousin's like, sure. Well, the cousin's like, maybe, and Lala's like, well, she said sure. So this whole episode, I don't know what type of path Papa wants to go down. But of course his father was the clean pastor. And this pastor, Ezekiel, seems like a dirty pastor. I mean, even his own daughter was like, be careful. Even his own daughter trying to get away from him. So Pastor Ezekiel, he's trying to get Papa to charge people to listen to his podcast, his little Papa's pulpit. He's like, you know, if you don't pay yourself, then you don't pay God, and that's disrespecting God. He's saying some stuff like that, like basically twisting religion around. You could tell he's just a shady-ass pastor. And then we find out how shadier he is later in the episode. So then we get this scene. I guess Fatima breaks it off with Vic because of the situation. She's like, I'm going to go stay with my folks for a while. And Vic's like, well, what does that mean? And Fatima's like, well, that just means that we're just going to take a little break for now. And I'm just like, this nigga openly dating you as a trans woman. And you got the nerve to not hold him down for something that he didn't even do. I can see if he did the shit and you feeling away like, oh, I don't know if I want to be. This is something that he didn't do. I mean, granted, Vic is a trig, Vic, whatever, he's a killer. But this is a crime he didn't do. He just helped dump the body and didn't say nothing. But he didn't actually kill the nigga, and you about to run away when shit get hard. But when it was the hardest for him to come out and admit that he was dating you, being a trans woman, like, what's up with that? I was like, yeah, Fatima, get the fuck out of here. So then we get this same Bakari, he's showing his journal or whatnot to Professor, and the Professor's like, you know, it's a good start, but, you know, you just a baby writer. You got a lot to learn. You got a lot of work to do. He's like, you just need a little fine-tuning. He's telling Bakari, like, he off to a good start, basically. And Bakari's upset. He's like, I thought I did. But he understands. He's like, okay, I get it. And then the Professor gifts Bakari with a laptop. And Bakari lights up. He's so excited. He's so happy. I love that we seeing Bakari trying to go down a good path. But as long as he working for Duda, that's not going to happen. And the people around him keep trying to remind him of that. So then we get this scene. Keisha is thanking Fatima for helping her find Ronnie's father's DNA, or so she thought, Ronnie's father's DNA. And that's when they start, you know, talking about each other's lives. Fatima tells Keisha that her and Vic taking a break. So then we get this saying, of course we knew Emma was going to let Damien come work for him. So Damien's at the Smokies doing the books. He's like, Emmett, your books are off. And Emmett's like, man, he tells Emmett, you're not asking the right questions. You're not asking enough questions. He's like, I know you work for Duda. So he like this, why are you acting so dumb? He said something like that, like, why are you being so dumb about it? Why are you being so dumb or something? So Emmett's like, man, I had to do all this shit by myself. So Damien's like, well, if you got money that's coming in that's unaccounted for, that's where the IRS will start sniffing around at. So Emmett's like, man, we'll do what you need to do to make things right. So Damien's like, okay, I'm gonna need a couple days. He's like, but that's just a temporary fix. So Emmett's like, well, how do you fix it for good? And Damien's like, you gotta either cut ties with Duda or you gotta kill him. And Emmett's like, well, I already tried the second one and it didn't work. So Damien's like, well, let me talk to him. I was like, no clean cut brother that we just met, no. So Emmett's like, no, he will kill you. Damien's like, you gotta do something for your ass to go to jail. So then we get this scene between Vic and Duda, and Vic's like, yeah, I appreciate the money, but I don't want Jake involved in this type of shit. So you gonna Duda, don't fight, don't bite the hand that freed you. Hey, this nigga Duda is good TV, man. I mean, you can't, we hate the nigga, but we love the nigga. So he asked Vic, did you say anything? So, Vic makes a face like, nigga, like, really? So he's like, well, they did say they got the accused DNA in the car. So Duda's like, oh, everything will be fine. And Vic's like, it better be. Then we get this little quick cutaway to Maisha taking like some family photos of Marcus, Tiara, and Gemma. Super cute, because like I've been saying, Tiara and Gemma look like they could really be related. They two pretty chocolate women. So then we get this scene, Pastor Ezekiel, he's basically like telling Papa his life story, how he came up as a hustler, this, that, and third. So Papa's like, well, how did you get out the streets? And Ezekiel starts telling him about, he grabs the Bible and he's like, God sent me a sign. And he's like, God, I found $100 that day when I said, if he give me some money or something, I would worship him forever. Something he said like that. He was like, he found $100 and he bought a shirt or something. And he was like, because God showed him to pray for the things that he want along with the things that he needs. So I'm like, this nigga just, it's like he's saying the right shit, but he also saying shady shit in between. It's like a shady way he's saying it. So he talks about this street preacher that he met that night and how he watched the street preacher, how the street preacher had the people on the streets and stuff in the palm of his hands, and when he was saying give, they was giving money and stuff. So the street preacher took him under his wing, and that's where he learned all this stuff from. Papa's like, you ain't go to preacher school? I didn't even know it was a preacher school. I mean, I guess it is, but I was like, I didn't even know it was. He was like, nah. But I feel like Papa should have learned more from his father, because Pastor Ezekiel was like trying to learn. I mean, I learned from him just like you learning from me. Nigga, what he learning from you besides being shady? So back at the doctor's, this is when I was shocked as hell. I was like, whoa. So the doctor, they tell Keisha that Ronnie's dad was not a match. He didn't have sickle cell, so he can't be Ronnie's father. And Keisha's like, And I'm just like, So my little mind started tumbling. Man, I got a little weed on my tongue. I'm trying to get it off. Did I get it off? Oh, yeah, I got it off. Okay. So my mind started running. I'm like, who the fuck else was she fucking? Because I remember she met that nigga after she got assaulted or whatever. But she was already pregnant. She already had the baby or whatever. So I couldn't remember who she was sleeping with before that. So then we get this scene I'm assuming this is like the car shop where they be hiding all the stolen cars and shit. Where they be fixing the cars up. And all the Duda's people's there and all that. And Duda pulls a gun out on Zay while they playing a card game, trying to punk him. I was like, this nigga Duda. So somebody, they start giving like a birthday toast to Duda. And then Bakari, he whispers something under his breath, something about they be under Duda's foot or something, foot on their necks or something like that. So Duda's like, what you say? And Bakari's like, I said happy birthday. So this nigga Duda goes over there, grabs Bakari's laptop, and throws that bitch on the ground, breaks it. I'm like, why would you even have that bitch out around him? He gonna be wondering where you got it from if he ain't give you your allowance that you asked for to get the jump. Why would you even have it out around him? And then he already know about your book, and you know he know about your book. Why would you? He could think you sitting right there typing up shit right now. This nigga having a birthday party. You know? Like I said, sometimes I be feeling Duda. I mean, Bakari, why would you have your laptop out? I mean, it's no excuse, but, I mean, whatever. So Bakari, you know, you can tell he filming this out. Of course, he don't say nothing. He's just sitting there. Then we get this quick cutaway to Fatima going back home to live with her mother, you know. Because it's not her birth mother, but it's like a woman who raised her like a mother. And her sister who was raised with her like a sister. She comes in there, emotional, falls into their arms, crying. But you the one broke it off with him for some shit he didn't do. You can't say it's about reputation or how you would be portrayed. Like, nigga, he openly dating your ass. When it was kind of a stigma for him to date you at first. That's why he was kind of keeping it quiet. So then we get this scene, Leon, he goes to Vic, and he's like, the DA wants to cut a deal with you. You'll have protection, and you'll be able to keep your position as councilman. So Vic's like, and what's the catch? They want Duda. So Leon's like, that's the offer. So Vic's like, man, I'm not snitching. And Leon's like, well, you going to jail, nigga. You going to jail, nigga. So this nigga Damien, against Emmett's advice, this nigga goes to Duda anyway. And he tells Duda that the books are off at Smokey's. Like, your books are off at Smokey's. I'm doing the books for Emmett. Duda's like, oh, I'll handle it. So Damien, he starts suggesting, like, new methods of payment, transactions, whatever, Cash App, Venmo, whatnot. Duda's like, oh, you know, I'm old school. And Damien's like, you know, hiding money is a dangerous job. Overstepping like a motherfucker. So Duda, he starts chuckling. He's like, let me talk to you. He puts his arm around Damien. I'm like, oh, shit, it's about to be over for Damien. But surprisingly, Duda's just like, look, make the books make sense, and I'll do the rest. So Damien's like, well, I don't want my brother going to jail. And Duda's like, I'll bail him out. I'll bail him out. Damien's like, oh, it's the IRS. It's not that simple. So then we get this scene. Papa, he listens to what the pastor says. He's doing his podcast. He introduces his new monthly subscription. I mean, I don't know. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with the charging of it all, but if Papa felt like he wanted to do it for people that can't afford it, then that should have been the way he felt, and the pastor should have understood that. So then we get this little meetup, or what do you want to call it, between Leon and Duda. They both got their cars aside from each other. They talking to each other through the windows. So Leon's like, you know, stay away from my client and my family. And Duda's like, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck is you? I don't know you, nigga. So Leon, he tells Duda, you know, I'm Alicia's husband, Rob's dad. So Duda's like, well, I advise you tell your family to stay the fuck out my way. So Leon's like, well, I don't control them. Well, nigga. Duda's like, so you're not the man of the household, but you still willing to protect. Leon's like, that's what a man does. He protects his family. And Duda's like, well, good luck protecting them. Leon's like, you got so many enemies, you need to worry about somebody protecting you. I was like, facts. Because all your little minions low-key want to be the boss. So if they see an opportunity of you getting taken out, they probably wouldn't they probably wouldn't care. So then we get this scene between Tiara and Marcus. Tiara's excited about the photos. and saying they'll be ready by Christmas to send out Christmas cards. And Marcus is like, oh, I thought they was just for the house. And Tiara's like, well, Christmas cards. And Marcus is like, well, I didn't agree to that. That's a big commitment. And Tiara's like, I'm bonding with your daughter. We damn near twins. She didn't say that, but she's like, I'm living here most of the time. What you mean? And the Christmas card's too much for you? So Marcus, she's like, so what are you, embarrassed by me? And Marcus is like, I'm not embarrassed by you. It's just that I feel like that's something that married couples do. And Tiara's like, well, I'm not asking you to marry me. I'm just expecting to be in a real relationship. And Marcus is like, we are. And Tiara's like, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like we're playing house. So then we get this scene. So Leon, he comes to Alicia's. And Rashad, you know, he answers the door as Alicia's bodyguard, his security, whatever. Leon's like, is that my jacket? That's my leather jacket. Alicia like, you ain't wearing it no more. And they funny. And to bring these two characters on here, bravo. We got legends on this show. So, Leon, he's telling Alicia, he's like, when you see Robert, have him reach out to me. And I'm just like, so you couldn't have called and told her that? And she's like, you're not going to check on me? You know, like fake flirting or whatever. And Leon's like, something, I don't need to check on you, baby. I got work to do or something. Kisses on the cheek. They have a little staring in the eyes moment. And then Leon leaves. This nigga Rashad get mad and she take the jacket, throw that bitch against the wall. He take the leather jacket, throw that bitch against the wall. He like, I don't appreciate you trying to turn me into your husband. He said, I don't appreciate you trying to turn me into your ex-husband. So Alicia's like, oh, you could never be him. I was like, sheesh. She's like, you could never be him. So Rashad, he starts roughing Alicia up, and he like, I'm my own man. He keeps saying that shit, but you keep getting these kept women. I mean, you keep being a kept man. He's like, I'm my own man. Alicia, she starts to like it. It's cringy, but she's like, oh yeah, squeeze me, choke me harder. They start kissing, you know, doing the nasty. So then we get this scene, of course, Keisha and Emmett. Because I was like, as soon as I seen the scene, I was like, oh, Nook must be the father. Because Emmett looked mad. So they like, we got to tell him. Keisha's like, I got to tell him it's only right. Emmett's like, he don't need to know. And Keisha's like, nah, he deserved to know. So Emmett and Keisha, they meet up with Nook. Keisha tells Nook that he might be Ronnie's father. And Emmett's like, but we still want to do a DNA test. Nook's like, I don't need no test if Keisha say I'm his father. I'm his father. He just wants some connection with Keisha because he still got feelings. And the fact that they have a child together, he like, oh, yes. So Emmett's like, oh, I still want one. And Nook's like, what do you want, Keisha? And Keisha's like, we just want to be sure. Nook's like, okay. He got a soft-ass spot for Keisha. So we get this scene. It's like a little double date at the club with Jake and Gemma and Bakari and Lene. So Bakari tells Jake that Duda knows about a book that he's writing because Jake didn't even know. He was like, nigga, you writing a book? So Jake's like, well, who else knows about the book? So Bakari's like, just me and my professor. I'm like, nigga, Lene. And I was like, Brittany, but I realized that's what the assumption he was coming to because Jake was like, nobody else know. And Bakari had to think. He was like, oh, my sister. And Jake was like, your sister do seem a little shady. And Bakari was like, oh, don't make this about Gemma. Because, you know, Jake already don't like Brittany ass. So he just like, she already a little shady. So Bakari like, nigga, don't make this about Gemma. So Jake like, no, I'm not. And he's like, well, you know your sister better than me. So then Lene and Gemma, they come over and grab the boys to dance. And Lene, she's like, Bakari, you want to come over? You can sleep in my bed tonight. I'm just like, don't do it, Lene. Baby, don't give it up. Give it up. Give it up. Give it all away. Look. So then we get this scene. We get a men's circle scene. I love the men's circle scenes. So Vic he's thinking it's Marcus, Rashad, Darnell, Emmett, and then they got the newcomer Rob's there. So he thanks all of them for coming to his house because he on house arrest. So Marcus he starts off by sharing his disagreement that he had with Tierra. Darnell's like, do you love Tierra? And Marcus is like, well, I think so. Vic's like, well, you don't sound sure. And Emma's like, well, women, they like to be claimed. And Marcus is like, well, I didn't realize that, but now I do. And they like, well, tell Tierra that. And I'm like, this is why I love the men's circle. Like, ever since they introduced this scene to the show, I've been loving it. Even though the men's circle has gotten way smaller since they first had it, but it's still all the key characters. We didn't have no Bakari, Jake, or Papa this episode, but that's fine. They youngins. So, Emmett, he then shares with the group Ronnie's diagnosis and how Nook might be his father. And Darnell's like, maybe this is more for like a family meeting. I low-key thought Emmett was going to like keep it, like not tell all the business. But I mean, they like family, so it's like no big deal. I don't feel like nobody would, do some weird shit with that information. So Darnell like, Nook better be taking the paternity. Emma's like, he's taking the paternity test. So Darnell's like, well, what if Nook is the father? And Emma's like, well, I'm just gonna have to deal with it. I mean, what he gonna have to deal with it? What can he do? So, Rob being the newcomer, Vic's like, well, I know you knew if you want to say anything. So Rob's like, well, I'm thinking about reconnecting with my father. Vic's like, well, shit. He's like, well, I'm surely grateful for him. That's his lawyer. So Emmett's, he explains from experience. He looks over to Darnell, like, it might be worth exploring, reconnecting with your father. So then Vic, he starts telling them about his split with Fatima. And how the only way he can get free is if he, gives up Duda. And Emmett tells him he should do it. Emmett trying to get rid of Duda any way he can. And it'd be even better if it ain't his doing, So Rob's like, man, if I hadn't missed that day, we wouldn't even have this conversation about you having a snitch. And Darnell's like, well, if Duda hadn't missed that day, you would be dead, Rob. I was like, God damn, Darnell. So then Emmett's like, man, if somebody don't take out Duda, he gonna kill all of us. Facts. Duda got a little active this episode, unless that wasn't him. Because in this next scene, Leon, he gets in his car. Somebody already in there shoots him in the back of his head. It don't look like it's Duda. It look like it was Zay. But either way, it's Duda's doing. Duda getting active this episode. Killing niggas, burning niggas. So this is the part I was talking about, the shady-ass scene between the pastor and Duda. So apparently Duda is moving money through the church like he was trying to do with Papa's father, but Papa declined, and that's why he got killed. So Pastor Ezekiel, this nigga wants more money. He like, you trying to push through my church? I want more money. Duda's like, well, I'll just go somewhere else. And Pastor's like, you don't have no other option. So now I'm like, okay, this pastor, he is shady, but he not necessarily taking money from the congregation. He just accepting money from a gangster. So it's like the money ain't clean, but it's not being taken from his church. So all the flashy shit, he probably getting paid off from Duda. But he not necessarily taking the money from the congregation. Still shady. He's still shady. Still hoping Papa don't get too involved with the nigga, but we shall see. So yeah, like I said, the pastor, he's like, you don't have no other option. I'm your only option. So this nigga Duda, he chokes the pastor up, takes his cigar, burns his neck. He like, nigga, a deal's a deal. Praise the Lord. Alright, that jump down, fuck it. It's too loose to try to light. It won't hit. So then we get this scene, Jake and Gemma, they about to, get it on. And Gemma, she stops and she's like, I can't stop thinking about you and the first lady. And Jake's like, look, when I'm with you, I'm with you. When I'm with her, I'm with her. And Gemma's like, that's not weird for you? And Jake's like, no. So Gemma not feeling, they just cuddle instead. So then we get to scene, Keisha and Emmett, they sitting at the table with the test results. And, you know, it looks like Nook is the father from their reactions. And then we get to scene Candy, Rosalind. She offers Dom's cousin. I forgot her cousin's name. I got to go back and find her name out too. Because they said her name when she introduced her to Candy. But anyway, she offers Dom's deaf cousin a ride home. A ride home. Then we get to scene Dom and Vic. They at Smokey's closing up. And Dom offers Vic a ride home when they get off. And he's like, I love to. And, you know, they stare into each other's eyes. So something probably about to happen there. Then we get to scene, the brat pops up. I forgot that the brat was the woman that Nina cheated with. She cheated on Dre with. So she pops up at Nina's place. She's like, I know you and Dre broke up. And when you ready to start dating, just know I'm around. I'm like, thirsty much? And I'm like, is she on here pregnant? Then we get this final scene where Keisha introduces Ronnie to Nook. And Nook is, you know, playing with baby Ronnie. I'm like, Daddy, a cold-blooded killer. And now Emmett's pissed because he's like, now I'm connected to this nigga for life. Or at least for another, like, 17 years. however old Ronnie is. But that's how the episode ends. I would still give it a B- because Nook being the father of Ronnie was a complete shock for me. Yeah, predictions, thoughts about episodes to come. I mean, like I said, I hope Papa don't get too wrapped up in this situation with Pastor Ezekiel because this nigga is obviously shady. Dude got active this episode. I wonder how Rob gonna avenge his father's death. You done killed his uncle now. You done killed his father. Right when he was about to reconnect with Cuz. Now Rashad kind of feeling sideways about Alicia. And Tierra kind of feeling sideways about Marcus. Will they reconnect? I don't want Fatima for Trig. Because if you're going to leave at the slightest little situation, you don't need to be with him anyway. So Trig, I want Victor to find somebody else. And we see Dom and Vic Mensa about to get into it. We see them about to kiss or whatever. And Smokey's, her and Vic Mensa. And like I said, I know Emmett pissed because he got this connection with Ronnie for the rest. I mean, with Nook for the rest of his life. If he gonna stay with Keisha for the rest of his life, because they don't have no kids together. But if they living and playing house together, and these kids are growing up with them being mommy, daddy, then yeah, he gotta be in his kids. Him and he gotta be in Nook and him gotta be dealing with each other for the rest of each other's lives. Those are my little predictions, thoughts, or what have yous for episodes to come. Thanks for watching this review. Comment below what you thought of this week's episode. What you would grade this week's episode. If I forgot anything or if I was off on anything particular, let me know in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. I don't only review The Chi, I review other shows as well. Power, Ghost came back on this week, and I am reviewing that. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, like, subscribe. It's the easy way to help a black content creator like me that's just getting started. Again, thanks for watching. See y'all in the next review, and peace.